Where are my keys? Seriously, I was just holding them. And what was that guy's name from the party in 2014? Mark? Mike? Matthew? And for the love of everything holy, why did I walk into the kitchen? Human memory is a leaky bucket. We forget names, dates, Wi-Fi passwords, and promises to start running on Monday. Neuroscientists say forgetting isn't a bug, it's a feature. It's a defense mechanism saving our processor from overheating. But what if we turned off this mechanism? What if your brain turned into a perfect hard drive, recording video in 8K 24/7 with no delete button? What if you remembered absolutely everything? Every second, every breath, every awkward moment. Welcome to the world of perfect memory. Spoiler, you won't like it. Let's imagine you woke up this morning with a syndrome science calls hyperthymesia. In reality, there are fewer people like this on the planet than fingers on a Simpsons character's hands. But today, you are one of them, just on steroids. At first, it seems like a gift from the gods. You never Google again. Why? You remember every Wikipedia page you've ever opened, down to the fine print footnotes. You pass exams at Harvard just by flipping through textbooks over breakfast. You learned Mandarin, French, and C++ just by listening to podcasts in the background. You are the king of arguments. No, Karen, you said you'd pay me back $5 not the other day, but on October 14th, 2019 at 2:32 p.m. when we were standing in line for a latte and you were wearing that ugly beige scarf. You are a walking database. You remember the taste of every burger you've eaten, the texture of every wall you've touched. You remember the day when you were 3 years old and fell face first into a cake. You remember it as clearly as if it's happening right now. Sounds cool, right? You're Tony Stark without the suit and money, but with a supercomputer brain. By the way, a quick digression. Have you ever wondered why we forget at all? Imagine your brain is a room. Receipts, candy wrappers, old newspapers. In a month, you won't be able to enter this room. It's called hoarding syndrome, but inside the skull. Forgetting is the janitor who comes while you sleep and throws out the trash, leaving only important things, like fire is hot, taxes are inevitable. Without this janitor, your mental apartment would turn into a dump faster than you can say cognitive dissonance. Back to science. Let's do the math. Your brain contains about 86 billion neurons. Each forms thousands of connections, synapses. It is estimated that the capacity of the human brain is about 2.5 petabytes. That's 2.5 million gigabytes. Seems like a lot? It could fit 300 years of continuous HD video. But there is a nuance. An ordinary person remembers the gist of events. You remember, I had breakfast. You don't remember the exact number of sesame seeds on the bun, the angle of light on the table, and the serial number on the fork. But in our scenario, you remember everything. The incoming stream of sensory information is huge. Eyes transmit data at a speed of about 10 megabits per second per eye. Add ears, skin, nose, proprioception, the sense of body in space. If you save this raw data stream without compression, your 2.5 petabytes will run out frighteningly fast. But the problem isn't even disk space. The problem is energy. The brain is a very hungry organ. Making up only 2% of body weight, it consumes 20% of your total energy. The process of creating long-term memory requires protein synthesis and strengthening synaptic connections. If you translate every second into long-term memory, your brain will start working like a mining farm in the Sahara. You will have to eat a lot. To support such a level of brain metabolism, you'd need to consume maybe 6,000 or 10,000 calories a day. You turn into a biological furnace, constantly chewing just to not faint from exhaustion while recalling the color of a passerby's socks. But physiology is just the beginning. The real hell begins in psychology.
The great Argentine writer Jorge Luis Borges wrote a story, Funes the Memorious. The hero remembered everything. And do you know what his main flaw was? He didn't know how to think. Wait, what? Look, to think, you need to generalize. To understand the concept of dog, your brain must discard the details of the specific poodle you saw yesterday and the specific shepherd you saw a year ago and highlight the commonalities: 4 legs, tail, barks. This is called abstraction. If you remember every dog in the smallest detail, every hair, every shade of fur, every movement, you stop seeing a dog. You see millions of unique monsters. Your world falls apart into an endless stream of unique details. You look at a tree. A normal person sees a tree. You see 45,892 leaves, each of which has a unique vein shape, and you remember how these leaves moved in the wind 5 minutes ago, 10 minutes ago, yesterday. For you, the concept of yesterday's tree doesn't exist. There's tree at 2 p.m. and tree at 2:01 p.m. These are different objects. You will lose the ability to understand categories. Language will become meaningless because the word table is too general for your perception. You'd have to invent a unique name for every table in the world. Your thinking will slow down. Before answering, "How are you?" you'd have to scan terabytes of data about your state for the last 24 hours. You will become the smartest, laggy person in the universe. Let's be honest, most of us would want perfect memory for only one goal: winning arguments in the shower. You know, when you're washing up and suddenly you come up with the perfect answer to an insult from 5 years ago. With perfect memory, you don't just come up with an answer, you replay that argument anew, in real time, with all the sounds and smells. Congratulations! Now you can't shower in peace because your shower is crowded with ghosts of the past. And here we come to the scariest part: emotions. In normal life, memory of the past fades. The emotional wearing wears off. When you recall scraping your knee at age 5, it doesn't hurt. You just know the fact it hurt. This is semantic memory. But if you remember every second, you remember the sensations too. This is high resolution, episodic memory. You don't just remember that you were sad when your hamster died. You feel that sadness just as sharply as in that very moment. Time heals nothing. In your case, time doesn't exist. All moments of your life happen now. Imagine the most embarrassing moment of your life. Maybe you accidentally farted in yoga class, or called the teacher mom, or made a bad joke on a date and silence fell. A normal brain covers this with a layer of "oh well, happens" and hides it in a far corner. Your superbrain will replay this in 4K Dolby Surround every time you see a trigger. Yoga mat? Bam, you're there again, blushing with shame. Teacher? Bam, shame. You will get stuck in an endless loop of cringe. Your life will turn into a museum of your mistakes from which you cannot exit. You won't be able to forgive because you won't be able to forget the offense. The insult will always be fresh, as if you were insulted a second ago. Relationships will become impossible. No one can withstand a partner who remembers every, even microscopic mistake. Let's raise the stakes. What if this mutation happened not just to you, but to all of humanity? Welcome to the world of absolute truth. 1. The end of lying. The Institute of Lying will collapse in a day. I didn't see your message. I was in traffic. I didn't take your yogurt. All this will become impossible. Social lubricants that hold society together, little white lies, will disappear. The world will become brutally honest and very aggressive. Collapse of the judicial system. Witness testimonies will become perfect. No, I think I saw. Trials will last for years because witnesses will retell events with millisecond precision.
But on the other hand, crime will drop. Why commit a crime if you will remember your fear and guilt forever? Prison won't be needed. Your own mind will become your torture chamber. 3. Collapse of culture. Art requires oblivion. We reread books and rewatch movies because we forget details. In a world of perfect memory, there will be no concept of rewatching a movie. You watched it once, it's with you forever. The music industry, cinema, literature, everything will become disposable. The entertainment economy will crash. 4. Technological stagnation. As we found out with the Funes paradox, perfect memory kills abstract thinking. Science requires generalization. If all scientists remember every test tube but can't see the big picture, progress stops. We will be a civilization of living dash cams, unable to invent the wheel because we are too busy remembering the texture of the road. Funny, isn't it? We spend billions of dollars on servers to store data. We photograph food so we don't forget what it looked like. We fear Alzheimer's more than death. But it turns out the ability to forget where you put your glasses, which are on your forehead, is what makes you a functional human, not a twitchy neurotic. So, what if we remembered every second of our life? We would go crazy, probably within the first week. Our brain would overheat from metabolic costs. Our psyche would break under the weight of endless regret and shame. Our society would disintegrate into billions of lonely, vindictive individuals, unable to understand each other. Memory isn't a video camera. It's a storyteller. Our brain constantly edits the script of our life. It removes boring scenes, adds special effects to important moments, and, most importantly, erases bad takes. It makes our past bearable, so we can have a future. Forgetting is an act of biological mercy toward our consciousness. It allows us to change. If you remember your old self perfectly, you can never become someone new. You will be chained to your old version by the shackles of perfect memory. So, next time you forget to wish a friend a happy birthday or can't recall the capital of Paraguay, don't be upset. Say to your brain, "Thank you. Thank you for making room for something new." For example, for this video, which you, by the way, will most likely forget in a couple of days. And that's beautiful. By the way, the capital of Paraguay is Asunción. Now you know. For the next 5 minutes.